So stay seated here, or should I?
No, you can do whatever you want. I'm gonna just trying to follow you with this camera.
Okay. Well, then I'm just gonna stay seated here.
Okay.
So hello.
Hello.
So the topic, the theme for my talk is the struggle is real. I am here to tell you about how we started Four Corners Yoga and Wellness and the trials and tribulations we encountered during this time. We started the business in 2015, the thought of the business, I should say, and we actually didn't open until 2017 when we thought we were going to be open in 2016. It's been quite the journey, and it's really important to remember that you have to stay focused in whatever it is that you're doing and persevere. You have to make sure that you have team members, supporters, advisors to help you in doing what you're doing. Karuna O'Donnell is my business partner, and I am the co-founder of the business, and we are 50-50 partners, and we have our service-based industry of massage, yoga primarily, but I didn't want to keep it to just yoga and massage. That's why we use the word wellness in our name. So we also do Reiki, meditation, and pranic healing. That's energy work. We offer all kinds of workshops and things as well. We are committed to providing services, accessible, safe space for the community. We're in the Four Corners neighborhood of Dorchester. And, this presentation is to talk to you about starting a business from the beginning and to where I'm at. And for myself, I've been very instrumental in helping my sister start her business. She owns a hair salon in Mission Hill. It's been open 20 years this August. And my cousin owns a flower shop down in Marion, Massachusetts, and also helped her in the beginning.
Wow.
She's been open to 11, it'll be 12 years this year as well.
Wow.
My part is the business part. They're the technicians, and the same here, although this time around with Four Corners, I'm a technician and the business part. Like, I just have that knowledge because of my background in banking and working in the not-for-profit sector that I was with. The organization I was with in the not-for-profit sector was Mission Hill Main Streets. I was the executive director for 2 years. So I got a lot of experience there, learning about the permitting process that we needed, learning about opportunities that we could take part with the city, which was great, some of the facade grants that they offer, as well as just learning how to build community and goodwill with the community and making sure that we're providing a service that the community wants, because people think that they have an idea, going to open this business, and here you go, without really doing the research. And that's why you'll see a lot of turnover, or businesses leaving after a year to 2 years, sometimes even sooner. So when Karuna and I discussed opening Four Corners Yoga and Wellness, we didn't have a name. We just knew she wanted to have the yoga and I wanted just to have massage. And as we started looking for places, we were fortunate that our landlord is Viet Aid. They're a CDC in the Fields Corner neighborhood. They were going to be building this building, and I learned about it and was able to have a conversation with Karuna, the project manager, and they talked to us in July of 2015 and said, if you are very serious, get us a business plan by September, and we will bring it to the board and make a decision, and go forward. And we can basically have you in from the ground up with the architects. So we actually hustled. I mean, we didn't think it was going to be happening that fast. Karuna and I had only known each other at that point, a year and a half or so. We both had our own sole proprietorship businesses here in Jamaica Plain at the Meeting Point, where she was doing healing circles of yoga and I was just doing massage in the room. And so we were able to hire a business coach who helped us in writing the business plan. And it was really helpful because we had all the ideas, but to put it together, I mean, I had seen a business plan when my sister opened her business and my cousin opened her business. It was bootstrapping. They didn't have any business plan. They didn't go to the banks and get any monies. And so for us, I didn't know if we were going to need money, but I knew if the landlord was asking for a business plan, I knew we were going to need to make sure that we were prepared. So this business coach helped us in creating this business plan, and that was so instrumental. And I recently realized, just in the same instance of making sure everything is always updated. You know, I'm no longer in the corporate world, so I don't think about keeping my resume updated or my profile statements and things like this. In any case, business plan is something also because we recently were applying for a grant and they asked us for our marketing plan or financials or something, and I was just like, oh wow, I haven't looked at that in 4 years. So, but you know, each year you get better and you learn things, and so this year that's what I'm trying to make sure that we go forward with updating some of those numbers and seeing where we're at, you know. So when we submitted the business plan, they looked at it and had just a few questions. I mean, I didn't bring a copy of the business plan with us, but you know, everything was based on what we were already doing and just saying, okay, I think realistically I can double this, I can see this. At the Meeting Point for my massage business, I charge a little bit, I was charging a little slightly lower than the standard market pricing just because I knew where the Massage Envy price point was. So it was just like in my head, all the things that I was thinking that might work. And so we put that into the business plan, and then I looked and I'm like, oh, those numbers aren't going to balance if we say we're going to be paying this. So what is going to happen? I mean, I can only do so many massages as a therapist. And we didn't know how many massage rooms we were going to have, but we had, in my head, I was thinking 3. And so ultimately we only have 2, but we were able to, you know, make changes with some of the money numbers that we were looking at by creating the membership. I wasn't really gung-ho on a membership, but it's interesting, over these last 3 years and being the owner of the business, I see how important memberships are. I've recently heard some podcasts. I love to listen to How I Built This. I don't know if anybody ever listens to it, but love it and highly recommend it because it's success stories of established businesses, and sometimes at the end they put little tidbits of smaller businesses, but it's fascinating. And memberships, though, as all of us maybe or may not have, but been a member at one point or another, sometimes you're paying for months and you don't go, but that's what membership, we count on that. And Four Corners, we have a monthly unlimited yoga membership. And I think at the point when when we were writing the business plan, she wasn't 100% certain of what the rate was going to be. And so I don't even remember honestly what it was, but it may have not been that much higher than what we charge. Right now we charge $89 a month for unlimited yoga. So we really try our best to keep it affordable and accessible to folks, and we ask them to make a 6-month commitment. So we just up those numbers in order to make sure that our financials balanced out. But I have to tell you, I didn't realize how difficult it was going to be to get the members to come. I mean, everybody says, wow, that's a great deal. That's a wonderful deal. But then they either don't fulfill the membership commitment after a couple of months. It's not as often. In the beginning, it didn't seem like it was happening as often as it does now. And so I really have tried to making sure my staff is trained to say, look, I tell them, look them in the eye, make sure it registers. It's a 6-month commitment. If you cancel before the 6 months, we're going to charge you $65. So, you know, it's kind of helping, I think. This last month, we didn't have anybody not fulfill, but it seemed like for the last 6 months prior, it was at least one person every month was signing up, and then after 2 or 3 months, canceling off of us. I started to think that I was going to have to make a phone call after every new member was signing up and welcoming them. And I still may do that just because I'm big on customer service and just making that personal touch and communicate the massage benefit that you get with a membership is free massage as well as the unlimited yoga benefits. So
that in itself.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. So, I mean, it really, it's just the importance of getting people in there because people want to see that the business is they want to see activity. They want to see people coming in the classes. I've only had one person in the 2.5 years come in and say, when I gave the talk and when they come in and ask for information, when I told them the class sizes are still relatively small, anywhere from, 4 to 7 people. And they were like, wow, that's really small. I don't want that. I'd rather have a bigger class. I'm like, oh, well, we do have some of the classes. There are 3 teachers that have a real draw, and you'll find that they have, 13 to 18 people in it. And so it's just very interesting. Most people you would think would be happy to have a private lesson, if you will, just when you have such a smaller group. In any case, when we submitted the business plan, they pretty quickly turned around and told us by the beginning of October that we were going to be, we were accepted in, and that we'd have to provide the first, last, and security, and also actually, they didn't tell us this initially right then. So right then in October, we had to provide them first, last, and security. And this is all thinking, this is for July, this was for 2015, that we were going to be opening in June of 2016. And the building, they really hadn't broken ground yet. I don't believe that they leveled the building, so it was vacant lot, but by February, they were asking us for our liability insurance. I was like, oh, okay. So we got a business liability insurance. And so that was an additional like $1,200.
Per year.
But yeah, well, that's what I thought it was going to be, but we hadn't opened yet. So in any case, when we found out that the building was delayed, there were construction issues. We weren't always privy to all those little issues, but I live nearby and I drive by, and there were times where I was like, oh, doesn't look like anything's happening out there. I wonder what's up. But I wasn't calling because, it's whatever's happening, that wasn't really for me to be asking at this point. But I really, in my head, it seemed like a week going by with nobody on the lot. It's like, this is strange, So hence we didn't open until 2017, May. So, but there was some challenges.
I think we're waiting for Shirley after.
Yeah, but the next thing to say that was that, so that's February. So as we continue throughout that spring of 2016, we just started doing a lot of building community goodwill. There's a local community group called the Aspirers Club. It's a West Indian social club for primarily folks are from Montserrat, but other West Indians utilize the space. And so we started doing free yoga there once a week. And every 4th week, I would do chair massages there, and just for free, just so they can get a sense of and answer questions of people. So we did that from April through July, and then we stopped for the summertime. Yes, I think we either stopped in July or in June for those 3 months, but we started it up again in the fall. And Karuna, the other challenge was with yoga schools, with yoga businesses, a lot of them will create yoga teacher trainings so that they can basically get teachers to teach for them and get that experience. And so Karuna had already had the plan that she was going to have a yoga school starting in that September of 2016. And because we didn't have a building to do it in, she had to find alternate space. And of course, because, you know, whenever it's the first of anything, you always get all the excitement, you get a lot of people. She had her largest cohort, or it was her first cohort, but the largest one was like 22 people. And she had to find alternate space. And it was a little bit of a challenge, but she was able to fortunately partner with the Nesters, which is in, I think it was there, and also the Cardinal Square, the Black Box Theater. We were utilizing that space a few times, but it was a challenge because some places aren't open on the weekends, and they were like, we have to pay extra staff and this and that. So it was a lot that was making it challenging for her. But by the fall, we had started attending the neighborhood civic associations in Dorchester. There are a lot. I mean, even in our little half a mile radius, there's a lot of little neighborhood groups, and we were trying to make sure that we were making a presence at each one of them over the course of that 2016 into 17 year. So I think I had gone to several of them, about 4 of them at least twice. Then there were maybe 3 that I only hit once. And it was good because just to show people who we were, talk about what we were going to be doing for them. And I never encountered anybody who was against it, so that was a good thing. The other thing that we were doing was definitely we worked on our logo and our brand. We actually had already had that by the summertime. Excuse me, by May, June timeframe, we had already had that, but we didn't have a sign for any of that stuff because the building wasn't happened yet. So we didn't focus on that part. We're just getting the marketing material out there and getting our brand out there, creating the social media pages. Karuna, one thing that I like to say is having a strong partnership is important. Knowing your own strengths and your weaknesses, and when you can give up control of certain things that you might not be as good at. You have to acknowledge and recognize. So Karuna and I we talked a lot beforehand, and we were also advised by our business advisor to make sure that we had memorandum of understanding between us, because we're an LLC. That's the other thing I didn't say. We established ourselves as an LLC early on to make sure we have a memorandum of understanding about things, and to make sure that we also knew who was going to be responsible for what, because it would just be easier than going back and forth with things. So because I'm naturally inclined to the business part, I just was the one who made sure that we chose the banks mutual together. The bank that we chose was Rockland Trust, but for the most part, I'm the one who does all of the bookkeeping, if you will, not literal bookkeeping, but the cashing out daily balances and going to the bank and bringing things in. We have an accountant that we use and who does our payroll as well. But the first year, that 2017 into the 2018 year, we did the payroll ourselves. And then in end of 2018, starting 2019, we hired ADP. But because in 2017, everybody was a contractor. And so the massage as well as the yoga, I did a lot of workshops, and one of them that I did was with the civil, I don't remember the name at the moment, but they're a lawyer group.
The Lawyers Committee.
Yes, thank you very much. The Lawyers Committee for Social Justice and Equity. We were fortunate. They helped us actually in creating our LLC because we didn't know, you could do it yourself, and I've told people that, but the benefit of us doing it with them, we thought it was going to be a benefit. It just took a lot longer, but the fact is that we had the time, so it was okay. But it was pro bono completely. But I got introduced to what other workshops and things they did. So I did a workshop there with them, and I learned that really my massage folks are really employees. And I had a sense, but I mean, I still thought I could do this way. So we converted over in the 2019 year to employees, and that's when we said, got to have an employee payroll company, because I already knew from my sister's business, because it's a S corp, which is another entity for a business, that to pay the business, to pay the taxes, you know, and all of that, I didn't want to have that on my shoulders. I had enough things going on. So I just remembered I didn't mention the struggle, the other part of the struggle with the building again. So the delay of the year. Once the building opened in April of 2017, we opened our doors May. The tenants are upstairs. So it's a 2,050 square feet with 2 massage rooms, 2 bathrooms, ADA compliant, and Karuna felt it important to have a shower in there, because she thought having early morning yoga classes, people would want to come and then maybe shower and go. So 1 bathroom has a shower, and we quickly started experiencing challenges in the building. We did request early on to ask if we could have 2 heating systems, 2 thermostats, and they said no. So I said it's more important for the yoga folks to have control of the thermostat, so let's put the thermostat inside of the yoga room. But for some reason, nobody said, the architect or anybody, you know, it's going to get hot in here, you might not want to have that in here, the temperature's not going to read accordingly. And so we found, almost, because it's summertime now, 2017, the humidity was horrendous, and it was like we had to get that moved. So they did fortunately move it out into the waiting room area. But we continue to have challenges that 2017 all the way through 2018 with the heating system, because it's a computer-based one, and I don't know what was happening, but it needed to be programmed properly. And so when the fall came in the winter, heat didn't kick on, it was freezing. We had 4 radiator heaters going, and of course, as soon as I put all 4 of them on, tripped the circuits. It was just like crazy. But my boyfriend is a great supporter, and he was able to, you know, help in educating me on what I needed to do for certain things. But we did get the folks came out and did get it fixed. So, I mean, but the fact of the matter is that for, you know, for approximately 10 days, but you know how landlords are, it's October, we don't turn it on to the 15th and this and that. So for us, it was like, we should be able to control our own heat. And really, we could. It's just that we didn't know these things, though, but we were under the impression that they hadn't turned on the heat. So that's why it lasted like 10 days of like grief. And, you know, it's your brand and your name is getting out, and this place and this. And, you know, so in any case, it got straightened out, and they had to go away from the contractor who they initially hired to install the heating system, because they weren't doing it properly. So this guy who handles it now, he in fact was so awesome. He came through here recently in the last, you know, 4 or 5 weeks and asked me how things were going. I was like, wow, they're great. And thank you for coming by to check in on me. I said, whatever you did this past spring to make sure everything flipped over properly, I mean, this past fall, everything is working fine. The heat's been fine. It turned on proper from the summer. So everything worked out there. But given that the AC was not working properly that summer of 2017, we had some problems with our flooring. So our flooring, part of our lease, we negotiated to, we asked, but they said no, for them to install bamboo floors. They gave us the shower, they paid for that on the build out. And they said for us, if they could we could do an exchange of services. So if we install the flooring in the massage rooms and in the yoga studio and did the painting, then, you know, they would do some the other things. So we installed the bamboo floor, but after that whole fiasco with the heat, the humidity was so high, the bamboo buckled in 2 spots. And so, I mean, it wasn't so dramatic, but it was exactly, it was just enough to be annoying. And so we had to rip up this floor, and not us, but our contractors, and get a new floor on laminate, and they laid it down. But I was always feeling that it wasn't the way the contractors laid it down. I think it was the building the foundation, in my opinion, just was not level. And so there was some little seepage, because you could see on the outside of the foundation in the beginning, you saw some water seepage. My boyfriend has this eye, and he saw this and he called my attention to it. But one thing that I say is document, document, document. Photographs, emails. At one point we were texting so much, and I hate text because I delete my text and get rid of it. So I would typically forward things to my emails. But in any case, the flooring got taken care of by that. I don't remember if it was the winter or when we did it now. Everything seems like a little bit of a blur, but we got it taken care of, I think, by the before the next spring came, because she had her teacher training, so she was doing the teacher training on the weekends. So I'm pretty sure we fixed it in 2018, and we have not had any issues with it at all. There was one small point that I saw a little gate in the laminate. Again, that's why I come back to saying that I think the foundation in that section is off a little bit, because there's a small little minute gap there. And I think what the other things, let me see.
Just a time check, it's 6:42.
Yes. I was just gonna say, the only other thing that I was thinking more so is about, creating our vision. I don't think that we've strayed from it, but I'm not always as, I think because people, you see the vision come through. So I don't articulate it and state it, so much. It's the mission part that I think is more important. Although, to be honest with you, it's been 4 years since we wrote that mission statement. And I feel like we're just living it and doing it. So I don't know that I'm really can say this mission is this. But our vision is really just to create a safe, accessible space in the community for people to come and experience healing, wellness. We call ourselves a trauma sensitive studio, so that people can come in and feel safe and not judged and able to do whatever. So in saying that, hiring people, that's another big challenge. I've had to deal with this because of my sister's salon. I worked for her for 8 years as the manager and the receptionist, and I always have done the pre-hiring. And so, when you hire, you don't want somebody who's exactly, like you. You want to, hire people who are going to add to your business, and, you want to make sure that you're asking the right questions. I was never in HR in my business, in my banking world. I was always in doing operations and not finance, but dealing with numbers. So my brain goes that way. So I'm always more inclined to give people a chance and see what we can do and how I can help groom you. I like to be a mentoring type, but in reality, you don't always have that time to be doing that. So just make the smart move and stop wasting your time. So I've gotten better over these past year, because I had a lot of turnover in that first year. Just trying to figure out how much I could pay them, given that they're a contractor, so more often, and when I say pay them, I'm referring more to the massage side. The yoga, Karuna had it laid out. She already knew because she had been teaching, and she had been a co-owner in another yoga studio previously. And so she had numbers that she knew how to deal with it. My numbers were coming from my experience in working at the one place I did work at, and then just knowing what, if you will, my value is and what my experience level had been. I've been a massage therapist for 9 years now, but at that point, I still knew right from the beginning. That's why I was able to start my practice, my sole proprietorship immediately, because I am business savvy, I'm confident, and I'm aggressive, assertive, and just know what to do in order to make things work. Because of my experience with the Main Streets program, I felt like I knew how to build a brand. And so in hiring the massage therapist, though, it was a little bit of a challenge. And of course, it's understandable. I was only paying them $15 an hour because our price point for our massages is so low at 65. We have the overhead. And then, like I said, with the monthly membership, and we were very, very fortunate that members would continue their membership in maybe not even becoming, but maybe once a week, and not getting the massages. Some people just come and get a massage, even though the benefit is really for the yoga, not the massage. So we had enough people that were, that were members that were paying those, that helped to cover that overhead. But truly, I had to move from that being paid hourly concept because of the fact that it wasn't, I wasn't getting, even though they might be working an hour and a half, so it's almost getting close to, $30 an hour, I felt like I needed to pay them more in order to prayerfully get people that are going to stay longer and be more invested in it. And so the people that I ended up hiring are the folks that are recent graduates because they're looking to get the experience. And what I offer them, what makes it different, is that I'm going to be giving you personal training, one-on-one, hands-on. I don't have like a program curriculum yet, but I aspire to that. We do have a 5-year lease, and we're in year 3 now, but prayerfully we'll have another 5 years that before that even happens, I will have established this protocol that I could say this is our training program and it's a 2-week thing or whatever. But typically when I hire the massage therapist, I am training them for probably about 2 weeks with one-on-one training. I just do it as long as I feel like they need it, and then I allow them to practice on some clients that they know their practice bodies, they're people that I've used before, and they know what to look for, and we'll give them feedback. And I, of course, get a massage with them in the beginning when I'm first hiring them, and then afterwards. So, but my whole point is hiring staff can always can be a challenge. The admin staff, because we're not able to have full-time admin front desk support, but it's really important because I tell you, anytime I have free time, like a block of time that's greater than 2 hours, I just go sit at Four Corners and do my work. And almost always somebody's either calling or walking in.
Right.
And even though you think it's gonna be a quick little 5-minute conversation, it's 15 minutes, up to 20 minutes. I was on the phone with this woman for 17 minutes. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, I didn't want to shut her down, but it was just like, you need to come in and check us out and see. I think I might have just one more thing and then I can
Sure,
take the
yeah.
questions. Let me just look there and see that. Yeah, and I think ultimately, I didn't reference one other problem we had in the building. I don't know what actually the problem was. I kept surmising things and saying, that basically there was water leaking from the ceiling, okay? And I kept saying, it has to be that woman. She must be overflowing the tub. I mean, it wasn't pouring down, but it was dripping down enough that it could fill a regular mop bucket, about this much water, okay? And that went on for close to 2 months, not every day, but I'd say every week it happened. And what it ultimately was some pipe in the wall wasn't something. And so they had to rip up her bathroom because it was happening. And like one of the last times it was happening, it was coming a lot. And I'm like, you got to go up into her place right now at this moment. I bet she's in the shower. It was crazy. But and so when they did that, when we did the floor, we had to close when they were repairing our ceiling. We had to cancel 1 day for classes, but for the floor, we had to close for a week for the yoga studio part. Massages, we could still do it once he did the noisy part. And it was kind of, if you will, okay, because we were still slower on the massage side. So that was it. But that was the last part of the issues with the building that we had. So I think that's all I would say about the building part. So, but things are doing fine now. I have massage staff, 3 massage employees, and then I have massage student intern. The state allows you to have interns to work for you. So I give them the monthly unlimited yoga members, or somebody comes in who has a financial hardship, I tell them they can get a massage with him. But for the yoga classes, we have a nice pricing plan, so we get people who come often, but instead of having the monthly membership, they prefer to purchase the class card, so that works. And I think, and then the workshop. So we're not allowed to sell anything outside of our services. So no, because we had initially wanted to have juices and things. We can't do that. The only thing we were allowed to sell are the T-shirts and coffee mugs that we might get, but it's not like a retail thing. So we did the coffee mugs once. We won't do it again though. But I think that's really about it. So I could take questions because it's 7:15 or so.
Yeah,
so,
thank you,
yeah.
Kristen.
Sorry.
I have 2 questions.
Mhm.
Were you able to dock your rent because you weren't able to be open?
So we did negotiate, no, from the 2016, from the start, or
No,
from that?
after, like when it was.
Yes, we did have mediation. So we did hire a lawyer. So the lawyer who actually helped us in reviewing our lease, great gentleman right here in JP. And so, but let me tell you, that mediation process took honestly almost 6 months.
Wow.
And it's not that we were going back and forth so much. It was just the time.
Yeah, finding time for each
response.
person.
We got to review each case by case, point by point thing. But they gave us a reduction for 6 months in our rent. So,
That's awesome.
and you had a second question?
Oh yeah, the second question. So merch. You mentioned that last. Are you able to, if it's not foodstuffs, if it's soap and things like that, could you?
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
Really?
Yeah.
Massage oil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stickers. Yeah. No.
There's no way to revisit that in
Well,
the
I
agreement.
think when we sign up for in the 5-year.
Yeah, because that can really tie
That's
your
a
hands.
big. Yeah.
Yeah.
And reusable containers are so big now.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was smart to go before the civic groups
Yes.
because, I belong to a lot of civics groups and they respect somebody more if they come to them first.
That's true.
Because with the civics groups, if you come to them when you start, they sometimes get mad, they don't want this.
That is very true. I learned that because of the Mission Hill my role as the executive director of Mission Hill Main Streets. People, Mission Hill, many of them are very well respected, but I knew Mission Hill carried a lot of weight. And I had gone down to the zoning board hearings once before, and they asked somebody, it wasn't for the Mission Hill instance because I was there for the rest, but they asked them, have you gone to your such and such neighborhood association? And they're like, no. We're like, why don't you go back to them and then come back and then we'll see. We'll hear you. They shut it down that quickly. I was like, wow, I do realize the power of the organization. So,
Yeah, and they say they pass, and now now the law is about the heat. As soon as it gets to 45 degrees or lower, they have to turn it on.
Yeah.
I was wondering, it sounded like you were saying that when you were going around to see the civic groups at that stage, you didn't have the fully fleshed out idea of what the business was going to be. So I was wondering if there was any way that that you got input from the community, or if the vision changed after kind of talking more and visiting more people.
Yeah. No. So we knew it was going to be yoga and massage. We just didn't know, what the time classes were. And to be all honest with you, when we first opened in May, we had 38 yoga classes a week. And by June, we moved it down to 28. And then when Karuna graduated that first class, I think by 2018, no, now it's a blur. I can't remember if it was the summer of 2018 or just this past summer. No, it was because the girls are going to be in a year because she had her daughters. So it was 2018. We brought it down that summer, that July, because we noticed the little trend because we had one summer behind us. So we went down to 21 classes a week, and that's where we've stayed now, to 21 classes a week. You know, it is a little bit sad that we used to have the morning classes 6:30 a.m. Monday through Friday. Well, the Friday one we had done at 6 a.m. But we just weren't getting the draw. We had to cut it because we still pay the teachers regardless if there's a student or not. They don't have to stay except for 15 minutes and then they can leave. But so now we just have the 2 classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:30 a.m. But we haven't, and then we took away 2 of the afternoon classes that we used to do at 4:30 because we were trying to cater to the teachers or the parents, you know, right at that point. We did hear, and we still continue to hear, do you have yoga for children? Do you have, or family yoga? And do you have yoga for older adults? And we tried the older adults one by doing chair massage, but you really need to find a partner, in my opinion. It's a partner organization to get that draw of the elders to come. When we were awarded the Business of the Year for Four Corners in 2018. And the mayor came and he was asking us, what can we do? And we were like, oh, get us some elders. And so we really hadn't followed up on that so much, but the H Strong Commission just recently started a program for certification of businesses. And so we're gonna do that this spring here. I'm very much familiar with it because Mission Hill was the first elder-friendly district, they called it, back when my predecessor started it over 10 years ago. And it's just really looking at your business and the lighting, the spacing of the aisles, or the words on a menu or things like this. Because if you improve it for an elder, you're improving it for everybody.
Yeah,
to be
100%.
true. So we're going to participate in that. So maybe in doing this and creating that, we could work with the H Strong Commission to develop a class, or getting. It seems to me it's the transportation, because there are enough elders in our neighborhood, but. So we've gone to the community centers for the elders and did some stuff for them though.
In the, well, you can talk locally around where Four Corners is situated, but in certain other parts of the city, like, or non-city, you have like a yoga studio like almost every other block, right? What do you think the community need is with respect to movement or massage? Like, it doesn't have to all be yoga, right?
Right.
And what do you think, what kind of infrastructure do you think that new businesses that provide wellness, what kind of support? You were giving us some of your testimony, and a lot of it is because of your own personal experience that you were able to hold it down. But what are the types of like support that you wish were a little bit more accessible for businesses starting out, and maybe the types of different kinds of wellness services that you see a need for beyond yoga and massage?
Let me answer that part first and then come back to the second part because it's fresh on my head. I mean, I love that the Boston Public Health Commission is doing the fitness. Now they have a winter fitness. But the 2 summers, they've been doing the summer free fitness in the parks, and now they're doing the winter ones. And I think that's good. It's a competitor to us, but I always see things, I try to see things as healthy competition. It's a way to, get somebody started, say, well, I can do this now, So I think that any movement is key. I like to encourage people, try everything and anything for movement wise. So I think making sure that, I know the Boston Medical Center, this gentleman that we work together, Bob David, he has a body awareness class every Wednesday at Boston Medical Center. It's completely free. And all it is similar to how Tai Chi is or Qigong. He has a little, if you will, routine, but it's 2 hours long. But you don't get tired. because you're not doing jumping jacks and all of this, but you're just moving your limbs and getting some range of motion. Because that's, if you think, well, you guys don't know, but as a massage therapist, my clients, I have clients of all ages. I mean, 99-year-olds, 80-year-olds, 77, 28s, and you know, and everybody's so quick to go get physical therapy, more so on the older side versus the folks who are younger, where it's not really always injury related. It's because they have a pain and they can't move this shoulder or something, and it's just because they stop moving, you know? So I think just giving them the opportunity, and that's why massage is good, because it'll help soften the tissue so that you can move and feel that you can move pain-free, but you got to keep on doing that.
Yeah.
So, and even if you do get the physical therapy, you need to keep on doing it. So having the opportunities to, like I said, Tai Chi, Qigong, any kind of movement at all. It doesn't, I'm somebody, for part of my self-care is I work out with a trainer every week. I mean, we have a little bit of a bartering thing going on, so it works that I can afford to do that, but it's part of my mental and physical wellness that I do this, so that I could, since I saw the Age Strong Commission, that's my new hashtag too, is Age Strong, but making sure that I'm doing what I can so that I can have longevity and last. As far as the other question I believe you were asking is what support systems that a new business can try to make sure that they're getting. I definitely believe the city has a lot of technical assistance, and each person, you really need to push, like, and ask for this information. It's not always ready, like, it's not, I won't say it's not available, because it's available, but it's not like somebody's walking around and saying, hey, did you know? I mean, the Main Street directors will, like my colleague, this gentleman, I was actually training with him also at the same time I was training with my own trainer, was opening a new business in JP. And I told him, I said, are you aware of what JP Center Main Streets can do for you? They can help you getting a sign, give you a grant. You have to pay half, it's a 50-50 grant, but they do it up to $5,000. And yes, so the facade improvement program is what it used to be called. I'm not sure what it's called now, but they'll even help you with design assistance. And so he didn't know anything about it, but that's what I mean. It's like, you know, when you're a small business owner, you're just automatically like doing your thing and your head's down here.
Right.
But you need to talk to your neighbors. You need to, you know, find out, you know, Googling it, yes. But the city, our city is really resourceful, and there's lots of information here. The Office of Business Development can guide you and tell you who to call or what to do, or put you in touch with anything that can help small business owners. And actually, I just remembered right now, so I have to just put this plug in. As a woman entrepreneur, they have the We Boston, the woman-owned businesses during Wow Week. They call it women-owned. Yeah, I don't even, my brain is going away here, but anyhow, they have a department within the city, the Office of Business Development for women-owned businesses. And I just told Karuna, I've gone to their events twice over the last 2 years during the week. And the director person, she asked me, she said, you know, if you ever want to do something, it doesn't have to be during, you know, Wow Week. I was like, oh, really? So next month being Women's History Month, we're going to hold a women's social. So I'll make sure and tell you all too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
And just invite people into the space and, you know, do a little 30-minute yoga class, have some chair massages, and then just networking so that people can come in and see the space. But I was like, wow, I didn't even know that was an option. Like, I thought it was very structured, you know? So, yeah, I just remembered, Karuna and I talked about it 2 weeks ago, and I didn't send the email to the lady to make sure we could do this, and we can use their network, their email list, is what I need to say. Yeah.
But I'll mention another thing, when you talk about massage therapists, you're especially certified and trained,
Mhm.
then I think of that more on level of a chiropractor.
Mhm. Mhm.
You might, and I'm saying you might do as good of a job as a chiropractor, but you charge less.
Yeah, and you know, I get that all the time, physical therapy or chiro. And I said, no, the difference is a chiropractor works with the bones, and some of them do work with massage, soft tissue manipulation as well. and physical therapists, it's range of motion and bone structure and soft tissue as well, where massage is typically purely soft tissue manipulation, but they also do structural integration. So they'll do postural analysis, and not everybody does that. That's more specific training, but I do know, like now as I walk around, and some people, it pops right out like, wow, look at their gait, or look at how this is or that is. And I wonder what I could do. Oh, no, forget about that, you know. But in any case, yes, people have asked me, oh, are you going to go on now and become a physical therapist? No. I'm very happy doing massage. I sometime in the future would like to teach massage. People have asked me, am I going to do workshops at the studio? And our business advisor had said to me, Christine, you have to think about, you know, there's going to be a point in time when you can't really be doing. You got to think of other revenue streams. So you should consider teaching. And all of that is on my wish list and desire, but that's maybe in the next 10 years time frame, because it's really just important that I have capable staff that I know are dependable, capable, and qualified to do the job in order to keep the brand going longer than just a 5-year or 10-year time frame. You know, my sister has built her brand over the 20 years, and people know, you know, Liz's Hair Care. It's like been around, you know. So,
Yeah, what about sprains?
what about sprains?
No, I mean, your massage helps with sprains.
It can, but not really with a sprain. A sprain is where the tendon needs to typically rest. With a strain is when strain is with the tendon and sprain is with the ligament. So with the sprain, you can do some work with it. Yes, you can do work. That's a little bit more specialized orthopedic massage. I'm not certified in orthopedic massage, but I have colleagues. So it's important to know when to refer out.
Yeah.
So I do refer my colleagues, I refer my clients out to some awesome therapists that are here in JP, and let them know. I mean, I know others around the city too, but I try to keep it in my neighborhood. So yeah, and I'm not afraid, because you know my clients know me and my skill set, and so they trust me, and so they will come back. So I'm okay with that.
So exactly, what is a massage therapist for?
Massage therapist is for the soft tissue manipulation, so your muscles. You can help with the joints as well, but really I'm going to work with your soft tissues. So people with arthritis, with lupus, with fibromyalgia, people with cancer. I'm working with a hospice patient right now. She's in a nursing home, and she's been given 2 months to live, and I see her every week. Another woman is in a nursing home. She has dementia, but she's not completely gone, but she gets a massage twice a week. You know, some people can afford it like that and others not. But basically, massage improves your circulation. Massage will help decrease your cortisol level, which is your stress levels. It will help increase your melatonin, your sleeping. So typically I tell people after you get a massage, you're gonna sleep better tonight.
Yeah.
And they do.
They do.
But if you've never had a massage before, we'll definitely talk, and I'll make sure and take care of you.
Yeah.
I think sometimes sprain is
right.
a muscle. When you sprain yourself, sometimes it's a muscle you sprain.
It's the tendon part, but yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm. Did you have a question?
Yeah, so are you at this point, you're like into your 4th year?
Third, we're gonna be starting our third.
But you have full-time actual employees who are on payroll?
Correct. Well,
Are you providing-
Karuna and I are not employees, so as the owner, so that's
Okay.
another good question, because when we switched over to this payroll company, now when I was with, and who's our accountant as well, the more formal payroll company didn't say, you guys are owners, this is an LLC, you cannot be considered an employee, we can't hold your taxes. We were supposed to be doing it as owner's draw. So our accountant, who is our payroll company now, when he saw that we were doing it, he goes, no, you guys can't. This is an owner's draw. So we have to, because otherwise we're paying taxes twice, that's why. Because we get a K-1.
But I'm just curious, so you've gone from, I mean, that's a big commitment, obviously,
Yes.
to that means you have enough of client flow to kind of cover those salaries, and the rest you're not, and still pay
Yes.
yourselves.
Yes, I work hard. So Karuna and I, right now for Four Corners, we didn't draw a salary those first 6 months. So 2017, we started drawing a small salary in 2018. and very small. And I told Karuna it was important because I watched Shark Tank, and they always ask, "Are you drawing a salary?" And so I felt like after 6 months, we needed to do this, so we draw a minimal salary. And fortunately, we both, at that point, Karuna was not pregnant, didn't have her girls, and so we both had still our other businesses. And so that small salary was fine, but we were really getting our revenue from our own other businesses. But I was still seeing clients, and she was still teaching classes in the studio.
Well, no, but my follow-up question is,
Yeah.
so do people who are your employees get health benefits?
So no, as a small, and I can say this because I know my experience from my sister's hair salon. So when I worked with my sister, she did provide health insurance, and but my sister has 9 employees, and so I was the only one. No, 2 of us were getting health insurance because the way Commonwealth they work is that you couldn't just have one person getting it. You had to have at least, let's call it, I'm going to say 1/3 of the employees. So maybe we had 3 people who were on health insurance. But when one of them left, and then the other people all had like Mass Health or something, so they didn't have to. So my sister no longer provides health insurance. For us at the studio, because we have the contractors, and because we're still startup, we've chosen not to. We're not mandated to because we don't have the we're under 50 employees, so you don't have to. But it is something, because I aspire to, again, because of my sister, she also offers a simple retirement plan, a simple IRA. And I would like to do that as well for our employees as a benefit. But, we have to reach that point. And my sister did it, fortunately, in that 2nd year in business. She was able to offer that simple IRA immediately. The health insurance thing she offered after, I think in her 4th year in business, and she continued to offer it up until I left in 2016. So, yeah.
Sorry, last question. I don't know how much time we have left.
Yeah, this is the last question.
Okay. So you said that you didn't draw a salary for 6 months, and then you did draw a small salary after that. Like, what is that? So you didn't pay yourself for the first 6 months. Is that what that means?
Yes, from Four Corners Yoga and Wellness did not pay ourselves.
Okay.
And honestly, because we're
But you were continuing to invest money.
say it again.
I said, but you were continuing to invest money without a loan.
So no, well, in that first 6 months, yes, I did invest money because we didn't have the numbers yet.
Yeah.
But I had, and that was personal. So we never did any. The only we have a line of credit now, which I've said to her, after 1 year, we have our taxes. Let's show them we're in good standing. Even though, of course, we were at a net income was a loss those first 2 years, and this past year, 2018 as well. So yes, 2017 and 18, there was a loss.
For the LLC?
For the LLC. But we were able to apply to Rockland Trust and show them, and so in getting the line of credit, they also said, hey, do you want to get a credit card too? We did have a business credit card, so we got the business credit card just to have, but I did want to just also say this, so small business folks know this. Even if you are a S Corp, which is another entity, as I mentioned, or this LLC, these credit cards, you still are personally guaranteeing it. So the American Express card that we have is under my Social Security, and the one that we got for the line of credit is under Karuna's, just because when we opened the bank account, she was the first signer on it, so not for any other reason. So I want people to understand that your credit still has to be, as an individual, has to be, decent.
Thank you so much, Christine.
Thank you.
Yeah. We learned so much.
Gotta plan a group trip to Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it seems like there's gonna be like a wow event. We can go.
I found
Only $65
the
a month.
advanced design.
89.